Well, hi everyone. Welcome back to my studio. Um, Over the course of the last week, I've built this superb kit, Trumpeter's 1 in 32nd scale F35B. Um, this is going to a collector who's actually a serving Marine, so I had to do custom markings on it. A lot of fun, but what this has given me the chance to do is live with the new Harder and Steenbeck Infinity CR Plus 2024 version for a week, using a variety of different paints, some metallics, some challenging colours like the white for the landing gear and the interior of the aircraft, a variety of different finishes, some Alclad Aqua Gloss, some of the MIG Ammo Lucky Ultra Matte Varnish. Some of those can be a little bit challenged. They can clog the airbrush. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what my experience has been like with the Infinity CR Plus 2024 and whether it's lived up to a lot of the hype. So let's have a closer look at the brush. So if you saw my last video, you'll know that I bought a new Harder and Steenbeck 2024 Infinity CR Plus to complement my existing Harder and Steenbeck Infinity CR Plus, the previous version. Now, the way in which I mentally justified this to myself was that it would be handy to have two brushes, so that when I was switching between different types of paint, lacquer-based to alcohol-based to water-based, I wouldn't need to be cleaning the brush so much. It was an interesting little way to deceive myself, to allow myself to go and buy myself a new brush. The reality is I just really wanted a new airbrush, and I thought the Harder and Steenbeck New Infinity was a really beautiful option. One of the big selling points of the 2024 version of the Harder and Steenbeck Infinity is reduced clogging. Now, I heard that and I kind of thought to myself, that's like saying this sports car goes faster than other sports cars, or this dishwasher cleans the dishes better than any other. I was like, well, of course you'd say that. That's one of the key selling points that you could go for with it. So what's it been like over the course of the week? How does it compare to the previous version? Well, I can honestly say I was absolutely astonished. Absolutely astonished by it. It genuinely does clog less than the previous version. Now, I didn't see how that could be possible. Now, there's a couple of things I want to show you on this at this stage. So, if you look, excuse the dirt, I need to give these a little bit of a clean up. New one, old one. If you look at the way in which the needle protector is configured, it's much wider on the new one. Now, I found that to make a really big difference, because with the previous one, what I would find is sometimes the paint would build up on these little points and then it would splatter onto the model. With that just slightly wider, it isn't huge, but it's significant. With that slightly wider gap, I didn't find that that was happening at all. Previously, what I found is I had to take that off, spray, carefully put it back on again so I wouldn't damage the needle. No issues with that at all. Really, really good. Does it clog less? It genuinely does. It really, really does. I was absolutely amazed. I'm going to put this one down. This is the new one. Absolutely amazed. It really does clog less, to the extent where I was able to use a lacquer-based paint and then wash it out with some lacquer thinner, and then use a water-based paint, a water-based clear through it, and then go back to using lacquer-based with no issues with clogging. Now, with the previous one, had I done that, even with the best will in the world of cleaning it, you do end up with a little bit in there, and if you get any lacquer, any water in a lacquer-based paint, it just turns into a sort of cheesy substance. So, absolutely superb. I've probably saved myself a good, I don't know, at least a couple of hours over the course of this week of not deep cleaning the airbrush between using different types of paint. Absolutely amazing. One of the other big selling points is the precision of it. Now, I must say, I don't know whether this is down to the technology of it, but both of these have new needles in them, and I found the new one to be significantly more precise, significantly less sort of shadowing around it, less splatter. So really, really good. I felt it was a huge improvement over the previous one. Now, I know there's an element of this where, you know, I've got a new toy, so I'm going to think that it's better because I'm excited about having something new. In this case, that's less so, because they are basically both exactly the same thing. This is just a newer version. One thing that I did find relative to the old one, with the previous one, I would find it would clog a little bit, even whilst using just the same version of paint. So what I found myself doing a lot was taking off this rear section and then undoing it, pulling it out, pushing it in, just to sort of clear the nozzle a little bit. And then because I was doing that relatively frequently, I'd leave this bit off, so it would become a little bit uncomfortable to be using. You see, I'd end up in this kind of position, and that's okay, it's not the end of the world. But with the new one, with it clogging less, I found I didn't need to do that at all, so I was actually able to use it all the time with the rear piece on. The trigger has really, really grown on me over the course of the week. Absolutely love it. I love the extra texture that they've put onto it because it allows me to be more gentle with it and pulling it back. So overall, I think it's a huge upgrade. It was well worth buying a new one just because it's so much better than the old one. And the old one, in my opinion, was brilliant. That's why I went to buy another one of the same variety. Absolutely superb. Anyway, if you get a chance and you have the budget for it, because they're not cheap, it's well worth it and they're absolutely superb. Now, I mentioned this in my last video. This was not provided for me for free. I paid full market price for it, so I can really say anything that I want about it. But I do genuinely think that it's amazing. So thank you very much for spending the time to come and watch my review. And I look forward to speaking to you very soon. Have a good one.